Okay. Now we'll see an example. In fact, 3 examples on exception. Okay, the first example being this program. It's the program where, well, it's in fact the EX show divide in the code here. And its main method runs, well, call method division twice. And after the second call to method division, the program exits, printing exit main before it actually exits. Okay? So the first division, well, the code for division is we divide the first argument by the second argument. So sum divided by amount. Alright? And when we actually call the division method in the first call, it's fine because we divide 100 by 4. And we should get these 2 lines printing out, computing a division, and then printing average equal to 25. Okay? And this will cause a problem. The second call to method division will divide 100 by 0. Divide by 0 is considered an exception. So let's see what happened. Well, it doesn't tell us at compile term. The problem only arises when we run the program. Let's run it. Okay, so when I run this one, it causes an error. But since I'm using Gradle to run, the error is the Gradle error message, which can be quite unclear compared to normal Java project error. So, well, but since I'm running Gradle anyway, I'll try running with scan to get a full error message. Okay. Now I run with scan, and the result of the run is the first division call is okay. Computing and division, and then I get the value 25. Alright, the first one is okay, but in the second one, I get computing and a division, and then the program stops running from there because there's an error dividing 100 by 0. And the error message is showing here. Exception in thread main, arithmetic exception divided by 0. Alright? And that exception happens at the extra divide line 11, which we can click and jump to that line right away. Okay, so it's in extra divide line division line 6. And well, that division line 6 is actually called from line 11. Right, so we can just go to line 11. See what happened. Okay. So that's an exception of divide by 0. Alright. And well, that's in Gradle project. But if we are executing just Java, we'll get an error message like shown below here. That exception in thread main, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so it doesn't have the Gradle message with it. But you can see it's similar. It's similar. It tells you that you get an arithmetic exception. And the line that contains the exception is shown, and you can click on the line to go to focus on that line right away. Okay, so that's arithmetic exception. Okay, what about the next example? Let's see this one. The array index outbound example. Okay, so I have the array with 4 slots. So it's slot number 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if I refer to slot number 4, this slot is outside the array. And it should, when run, should generate an exception. Okay, so let's see. It doesn't tell you at compile time, this one. Alright, so the last one, the divide by 0, it doesn't detect at compile. And this one, array index outbound, also doesn't detect at compile time. Alright, so let's run it. And again, since I use Gradle, the error message isn't that well typed out. So I will run with scan. And here I should get clearer message. Okay. So the message is exception insert main with array index outbound exception. Index number 4 out of the bound for length 4. Right? The bound for length 4 means it can only be 0, 1, 2, 3. So when I have 4, it causes the index out of bound exception. Alright, and we know where that happened. Go to line number 6. Alright, and for normal Java project, you have the same error that without the Gradle message. So that's funny. And you can go right to the line where the exception takes place. Okay, so the same thing. But that's not the end for this example. Alright? Because this example actually has 2 exceptions. But when we run the program encounters the first exception and exits. So it doesn't report the second exception. Okay, so what we do is if we comment these 2 lines out, the 2 lines here, the 2 lines down here should cause an exception because we are trying to access character number 10 from how many? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 10 goes beyond the string. Right? We are trying to access character number 10 of the string, which does not exist. Alright? So this will cause an exception too. So let's run to see the actual message. Okay, I will comment these 2 lines out and then run again. What? Okay, so what's the message? So it's exception string index outbound. Alright? String index outbound exception index 10 outbounds for length 7. See? Right, so your program stop where exception takes place. And that can be very dangerous for some program, such as a program that you want to run 24 hours. Okay? If it encounters an exception, it will stop right away. So in a program like that, we should find some way to keep the program running. Alright? but that's later topic. Okay, let's carry on with another example. Another example is this one. Show file not found. Okay, so in this program, its main method execute method file processing. All right, file processing here, which is defined here. And, well, it open a file, right? But this one is a bit different from the last two, since we don't have to run it now, you know. The compiler warns us about exception at compile time. So it warns that there is an unhandled exception. So some exception can be detected and your compiler can warn you at compile time. But some can't be detected at compile time. So you will only see the exception when it runs, and that's when your program will stop. Alright? Well, there's a reason. And the reason is actually the person who originally wrote FileReader wrote it such that you have to specify exception handler with FileReader every time. That's why it detects, because you haven't provided an exception handler. Alright? So there's some things that you need to provide exception handler at compile time right away, otherwise it won't compile. Alright, we'll look at this issue a bit more later on, okay? Alright, but that's it for the examples.